Good evening guys, Daniel here from Single Malt Jack and welcome back. As you can see, I'm not at my home bar at home. I'm up here at the top of Castle Hill in Townsville. So this is a cracking little spot up here. It's about, I think it's just under 300 metres, 280 something like that metres above sea level. But you've got full 360 degree views around Townsville. And what a better beer to sit here up with than the Tiny Mountain Brewery. It's a Pacific Ale, which is I guess similar to a pale ale. So join us. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the beer up here and a bit of a chat about the brewery in Townsville. So you can see I've grown a little bit of I guess a beard. Well, it's not really a beard, but a bit of stubble. I've been up in Townsville working on site for a couple of weeks, so I haven't been in the office. Haven't really been making any videos, but I thought I'd do one today. It's Saturday afternoon. Had a big week on site, working on site. So we're at the Tiny Mountain Brewery today, and it was just fantastic. And I just wanted to give you a bit of a overview of Townsville. Don't mind me, I'm just going to take a sip of this. So if you haven't been to Townsville, it's actually quite a cracking place. As you can see, I'm sitting up here on top of Castle Hill. It's just a fantastic spot. There's people running up here, walking, doing exercise, riding bikes. We drove up because I had a bit of a backpack to lug and didn't want to be too sweaty at the top. But as you can see, I'll take a bit of footage around the place, but it's just a fantastic view. Behind me is Magnetic Island. We went across last weekend for the day, and that was just a fantastic spot. I didn't take any videos, but I'll try and put some photos up of it. Places I'd recommend over there, definitely Horseshoe Bay. There's a few little nice cafes and pubs and bistros and bars over there. Great place to swim is Alma Bay, which is only maybe a 20-minute walk from the ferry terminal. And the Sea Link ferries are fantastic. They get you across there in less than 20 minutes. It's a great spot. Ferries are running every hour, 45 minutes, something like that on the weekend. So we had a great time. The weather up here's been fantastic. This is literally the middle of July, so it's the middle of winter, and I'm sitting up here and I'm almost sweating. The sun's just gone down in the background. It's still probably, I don't know, 24, 25 degrees. As you can see, it's completely shorts and t-shirts weather. So it is a cracking spot. Over the other side behind you guys is Mount Stewart. We drove up there last week as well, last weekend. That's a really, really nice drive. I think that's roughly about 650 metres above sea level, and you've got a view coming back towards Townsville and the coast, and that's just an absolute cracking spot to go have a look. It's a really, really nice drive up, and it's just a fantastic lookout. But I won't talk too much about Townsville because there's a lot here to see and do. Definitely recommend coming and checking it out. I'm obviously up here for work, but is it a great holiday destination? I'd have to say definitely yes. I wish I had a bit more time, a bit more downtime to come and check it out a bit more, and just to spend a bit of a few days off here. But at least I've got the weekend, which is quite nice. So cheers to you guys. Tiny Mountain Brewery. They've just opened up here in Townsville last November, and I was talking to the venue manager and the head brewer earlier today. We went there for a bit of a tasting and a look around, and they've just got some cracking beers over there. This is their Pacific Ale, and what a drop this is. It's not too crafty. It's very refreshing. Sort of tropical fruits. I mean, it suits the the environment and the landscape up here unbelievably. It's a really, really nice, crisp, refreshing beer. It's not too bitter. I think they dry hop it. I'm not 100% sure, but they call it a Pacific Ale, and it is a cracking. It's a fantastic beer. So the Tiny Mountain Brewery. I think it's quite fitting to be up here on top of Castle Hill, or as they call it, Tiny Mountain. So this is the Tiny Mountain they're referring to. So I thought, come up here, have a bit of a look, drink one of their beers and just take in the full experience. One of the other beers I had on the tasting platter, but also got a schooner of it as well, was their brand new IPA. So it was the Tiny Mountain IPA, and they call it the Magnetic Island IPA. And as you can see, that big island just behind my head back there is Magnetic Island. Cracking spot, and their IPA is just a cracking beer as well. I thought that was fantastic. I don't have it here in front of me. I'm actually a bit disappointed about that. The only beer they had bottled is their Pacific Ale. Okay, that's the only one I could take away with me. Everything else was just available at in the tap room. And just wanted to give you a bit of an insight. I mean, it's just it's at the end of the car park on Palmer Street. As I said, only opened up in November, and they got hit by this whole COVID thing, but they're still operational. They've come back live in full swing, and it was really nice to see today that loads and loads of people are coming back in there, and it's starting to get a bit busier. They're obviously abiding by the social distancing and the sign in, and limited number of people and things like that, but they are accepting walk-ins. And if you haven't been, especially if you live in Townsville, I'd definitely recommend it. Go and support your local breweries. The beers are fantastic. I tried their, as I said, their Pacific Ale, their IPA. I also tried their lager, and also tried, what was the other one I tried? Their cider, their apple cider, which was also really nice as well. So really good selection of beers. I mean, there's not too many there. I think they've also got a stout. I'm not sure if that's ready or not, but all really nice beers, and I'd definitely recommend them. One thing they did tell me though, which probably did take a little bit away from the appeal, was they told me that they were owned and set up by Lyons Brewery, okay, which is one of the biggest. I think it is the biggest brewery in Australia. So it's got a really craft sort of venue, craft beer feel to it. You just kind of wish and hope they had a story of three guys started in their garage and they took it, and there's a bit of a plane going overhead. Sorry about the noise. It's actually an Air Force plane going over. It's got about 6 propellers on it. That thing's massive, big carrier. But you wish you had the story of, it's 3 guys, best mates started. They started brewing in their garage or their shed, and they took it to Townsville. It's definitely not the case. It's owned and started by Lyons Brewery. I think they used to be called Nathan Lyon, and now I think it's just Lyon, and they're owned by, I think it's Kirin, the big Japanese brewing company. But anyway, look, I mean, it doesn't take from the appeal. It's a really nice little craft venue. It's quite industrial. They got the vats and the tanks all around the place. Everything's open. I think they're going to be starting tours soon, which would be quite nice to go and have a bit of a look. And as I said, even though it is owned by a big, multinational company, it still has that little craft brewery feel. And their beers are fantastic. It doesn't take anything away from the experience. All the beers, they've definitely got local people working there. They're supporting the local community. They're employing local people from Townsville, and I think that's fantastic. And I'm all about supporting, the local breweries and distilleries and restaurants and cafes in your area. So, I think that's fantastic. Big shout out to you guys. As I said, I wanted your IPA, but I couldn't get a takeaway. But the schooner I did have of your IPA was fantastic today. I mean, I only had one because I was driving, and I think it's something like 6 or a bit over 6, maybe 6.5 standard drinks. So I didn't want to have more than one. Just drink responsibly as always. But as I said, shout out to Tiny Mountain, fantastic brewery. Really enjoyed it. I hope I can see your beers sort of everywhere else now and on the shelf at the bottle shops. Magnetic Island behind me. This is Townsville, guys. So when you get a chance, come and check it out. Come on a holiday or a work trip and enjoy. If you liked it, like, subscribe, and cheers guys from Single Malt Jack.